morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is our Thursday 13 episode. We are here with a list of 13 of Steve Martin's first films, I guess. So you did it in chronological order of like the 13 films he did that you think were the best that he did starting out as an actor, I guess. If I explained that correctly.
Well, that's one way to describe it, but yeah, I mean, I'm not going to over-clarify things. Go ahead.
This is the first and only international game show Before Coffee, where we look up our stories 10 to 15 minutes before we started, and we do have some more stories, not just the Thursday 13 list. We just got caffeine in our body, and we're learning to read live on stream. Let's get into today's headlines. I try to chew my gum through these headlines here.
Chew on that. Chew on those headlines.
Today on Thursday's 13. Ukraine's new missiles and drones cause gas shortages in Russia, Zelensky says. And breaking news, Putin says Russian air defenses did take down the Azerbaijani jet that killed 38 people.
Totally shocked. Greetings and salutations from the United States, where Florida man has been arrested in connection with the Pacific Palisades fire.
They're leaving the borders and going to new places. In my continuing water drama in England, millions of households face further rise after appeal of Ofwat decision increases water bill prices.
All right, and on Thursday's 13, we're going to have the 13 movies that made Steve Martin a big movie star he is today.
In my culture news, from One Piece to the Hunger Games, when pop culture iconography turns political. Not that these things weren't already political to begin with, but we'll read the article anyways.
And it's National Moldy Cheese Day. Moldy cheese is opposed to the stuff that's
you smell
fresh
that.
off the
Feet sweat.
Yeah.
Delicious.
That's right. So get your blues and your Roqueforts and your Gorgonzolas and get out there and mold it up. It's October 9th, 2025 on Before Coffee.
I have Gorgonzola every week because, I live in a Dutch house, and if there's anybody who's the original cheeseheads, Dutch people, and my landlady loves blue cheese.
Oh yeah,
so I think I had a Gorgonzola. I had a Gorgonzola salad with pears and mint. It was an interesting. It was delicious. And red cabbage. Yeah, it's
the one. Moldy cheese will not stop you up like regular cheese will, because it's got that bacteria to eat all your. Yeah, right. You're eating living mold. Just remember that.
Also, good morning, Tommy. Well, I say morning. For us, it's the afternoon. Good afternoon, Tommy. I hope you're having a good Thursday. England doesn't like affordable water. This is unfortunately true. They also don't like clean water.
Okay, well, let's spin the old wheel and see if we can get through the day. Yeah, let's spin the wheel and
get these stories started since we chatted for like 30 minutes before the show began.
Yeah. How about the ready to go back to sleep already?
Yeah, I went to sleep pretty late today. It is Remind Me of a Song. See, look at that. You can get it. You can get the Remind Me of a Song once in a while.
That should be easy enough.
These are two articles, but I'm going to shorten both of them because otherwise it'll be like a 10-minute story.
Right.
First, I want to talk about the confirmation that, it was Russia who shot down the Azerbaijani plane last year. Wow.
I'm totally shocked.
We've been talking about the fact that they denied it, right? They're like, well, I think they denied it because they weren't sure, but it's like, how did you not know if you fired missiles at a plane? This is coming out of Moscow on AP News.
Yeah, Russia doing their Russia thing.
President and famed dictator Vladimir Putin said today, on the 9th of October, that Russia's air defenses were to blame for downing an Azerbaijani jetliner last December that killed 38 people. Only took him almost a year to let us know. Putin said the missiles fired by Russian air defense to target a Ukrainian drone exploded near the plane flying from Baku as it was preparing to land in Grozny, the regional capital of the Russian Republic of Chechnya. So that was the crazy thing about this entire thing, right? It was a plane that was allowed to be flying there because it was going through Russian airspace, right? It was on the radar, everything. You know, they knew they were there. They still decided to maybe automated anti-air missiles. Like, there's no person to blame, perhaps, for it. Seems like a huge cock-up. Speaking at a meeting with Azerbaijani's President Ilham Aliyev in Tajikistan's capital of Dushanbe, where both were attending a summit for former Soviet nations, and future Russian Republic states, Putin pledged to punish those responsible for fired compensation. Oh, I guess we're gonna have to beat that anti-air missile drone to death.
Oh.
What about you just don't do that? Also, stop invading Ukraine. Azerbaijani authorities had said that the Embraer 190 jet was hit accidentally by Russian fire, then tried to land in western Kazakhstan where it crashed and killed 30 of the 67 aboard. Days after the crash, Putin apologized to Aliyev for what he called a tragic incident, but stopped short of acknowledging responsibility. Yes, just took him, like I said, it took him 9 months to be like, yeah, that was us. Just say it to begin with. Aliyev, meanwhile, criticized Moscow for trying to hush up the incidents. Their relations were further destabilized by deaths of ethnic Azerbaijanis rounded up by police in a Russian city in June, and a series of arrests on Russians in Azerbaijan. Speaking to Aliyev on Thursday, or today, the 9th of October, Putin said that Russian air defenses that targeted a Ukraine drone fired on the airliner because of a technical malfunction, adding that two missiles exploded just 10 meters away from the passenger jet, or 33 feet. That's very close. That's very close for a missile. The thing about anti-air missiles is they have pretty big diameter, right? They're not like ground missiles have big ones too, right? But air is not allowed to stop you from blowing up. There's no mountains in the way or trees or whatever that carry the kinetic energy. He voiced hope for overcoming the strain between the countries and fully rebuilding ties. I hope that our cooperation not only will be restored, but continue in the spirit of our relations, the spirit of our alliance. Ali, for his part, thanked Putin for investigating the cause of the plane's downing. I would like to thank you for keeping the situation under your personal control. Yeah, it was all him. Putin was the one who pressed the button on the anti-air missile. Azerbaijani leader said he had a chance to discuss a broad and positive bilateral agenda, voicing hope that the messages we are sending today to our societies will meet a positive response. I think Putin should probably pay somebody money. I don't care. He can punish who's ever responsible. I'd rather he pay out for the loss of life or something. But anyways, that's my shorter story that I cut up into pieces. Remind you of a song?
I guess it reminds me of Jet Airliner by the Steve Miller Band. And the chorus goes, "Oh, big old jet airliner, don't carry me too far away." It's kind of a simple song.
Yeah.
Oh, big old jet airliner, because it's here I've got to stay, but you can change the words to it. Oh, big old jet airliner, don't get me blown too far away. Oh, big old jet airliner, because I don't want to be in pieces in the bay. There you go. It reminds me of the song.
Well, it's been a year. It's been a year since it happened.
Right. Yeah, it's terrible.
We'll give you a groan. Making jokes about
terrible, horrible tragedy, and that's me making fun of it. I don't know. Shame on me. I'm not making fun of it. I'm making fun of the fact that people think Putin is not a criminal. That's what I'm making fun of. He is a criminal. He's a war criminal, and everybody knows it. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I agree. Like, why did it take him this long to just say it was us? We made a mistake. You know,
because he's a coward.
And he says, "I will punish the one responsible." He probably already did. He already probably threw him out a window.
If Putin was brave, he would have an actual election. But he's a coward. So there you go.
My next story is more about Russia, but this time it's also about Ukraine. Coming out of Kyiv from Hanna Arirova, Ukraine's new missiles and drones have cost gas shortages in Russia. Finally get to feel the sting of the gas shortages we had during, I think, 2022 or 2023. There was like a whole energy shortage that I had to start taking showers less and turn off everything. I'm still doing it now because it's honestly just a good idea to turn my computer off every night. But
yeah,
we were like taking less showers, everything, just to try to save on energy because it was bad. Strikes on Russian oil facilities by Ukraine's newly developed long-range missiles and drones are causing significant gas shortages in Russia. While on the battlefield, a recent Ukrainian counteroffensive has derailed Russia's plans to capture part of the eastern Donetsk region. One day I'll be able to say this word. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky has said Ukraine's new Palancia missile has hit dozens of Russian military depots, Zelensky said. The Ruta missile drone, meanwhile, recently struck a Russian offshore oil platform more than 250 kilometers or 150 miles away in what Zelensky calls a major success for the new weapon. Also, swarms of LEOTI and Firepoint long-range drones, up to 300 units in one operation, have hit Russian energy facilities, and Ukrainian forces recently fired Neptune and Flamingo missiles at Russia, the Ukrainian leader said. I love what cute names that come up for killing devices. Oh, watch out! It's a flamingo missile! I don't think it's cute. I don't think it's a cute one-legged missile. And also, why is it called flamingo? Who comes up with these names? Pink and has one leg. Russian fuel shortages and higher imports indicate that Ukraine's attacks are working, Zelensky said at a news briefing yesterday on the 8th of October. His remarks were embargoed until today. The main thing is that Russia is now importing gasoline. That's a signal, he said. Ukrainian intelligence reports show Russia has boosted imports from Belarus sixfold and removed import duties, while also bringing in fuel from China. Ooh, that is weird. They removed import duties and give us the fucking fuel. We don't want to tax you for it. Just give it to us. According to our data, they've lost up to 20% of their gasoline supply precisely after our strikes, Zelensky said. 20%? That's huge! Russian officials have not admitted any of this has happened because why would they? That would lower the morale of all their troops, and probably Putin would get angry and kill whoever delivered the message because that's how he is.
They're trying to think of a good lie.
Delivering bad news. I don't think he does this, but it's funny to think of him like that. Success with the weapons designed and manufactured by Ukraine are welcome development for Kyiv after more than 3 years of fighting Russia's invasion, as Moscow deploys its bigger army and economic resources in an attempt to crush its neighbor. Zelensky said he wants the U.S. to provide Ukraine with additional long-range weapons, specifically naming American-made Tomahawk missiles that can carry large warheads, but which Washington has previously refused to provide. Yeah, because that might actually help them win a war. God forbid they just win the war and kick the people out of their land. No, we have to make sure we sue for peace and let Putin get whatever he wants. A delegation led by Prime Minister Yulia Svirdenko is due to travel to the U.S. earlier next week to talk about air defense, energy cooperation, sanctions, and the use of frozen Russian assets to fund Ukraine's war effort. On the battlefield, Zelensky said that most intense fighting remains around Pokrovsk and Dobropilya in the eastern region, where Ukrainian troops have launched a counteroffensive operation he described as very difficult but very timely and successful. The operation derailed Russia's summer offensive campaign, he said, adding that what he said was Moscow's plan to occupy much of the region by November had failed. Reminder that even though we're very technically advanced and we're fighting most of these wars without people, at this point, there are definitely people in this war. I'm not saying there aren't, infantry units and they're fighting and they're getting shot, but it's mostly drone warfare and missiles and stuff. But that means that they still kind of want to do their offensive during the summer when it's easier to move stuff. It gets a little rainy and muddy, but at least you're not freezing to death. That's why they're trying to push as much as they can before the winter hits, if the winter ever hits. I don't know how the weather is in Ukraine and Russia, but it's really warm for October right now. I feel like I'm in Greece right now, and it shouldn't be. So maybe they'll be able to continue their offensive until whenever the snows come, if they do. But hopefully they can continue fighting off Russia's invasion force from the eastern region. Zelensky also said Ukraine has a contingency plan to protect its natural gas infrastructure, which has been the target of heavy Russian attacks in recent weeks as winter approaches. If we can't kill them all, we'll freeze them all, I guess is Russia's plan. We have plan A and plan B, he said. Plan A is to rely more on our own extraction. Plan B is to switch to imports. We understand the volumes, the cost of those imports, and where to get the necessary funds. So there's news on Ukraine and Russia and the stupidity of Putin. Give me a song. If I can
All right.
speak.
Okay. Eating while you talk is
No, it's the Dr. Pepper. I drink Dr. Pepper before the show.
It's all right, man. It just makes you human. That's all. Okay, so the song reminds me of is Jumpin' Jack Flash by the Rolling Stones, which the first verse goes, I was born in a crossfire hurricane and I howled at the morning driving rain. But it's all right. In fact, it's a gas. But it's all right. I'm Jumpin' Jack Flash. It's a gas. I changed the words. I'm a drone on a bombing mission from Ukraine, and I drop bombs, driving Putin insane. But it's all right. We're bombing gas. It's all right.
Yeah.
We're just bombing.
That was good.
We're Jumpin' Jack Flash, and we're bombing gas. Yeah, at the very end. Of course, it plays out. It's still Jumpin' Jack Flash. It's a gas. Anyway, there's your song. I'm changing words to songs today to suit myself. All right,
Whatever entertains you, and I guess our viewers.
Right on.
Segue.
I hope so. I'm a drone. That was perfect, right? I think they set up perfect. Instead of I was born in a crossfire hurricane.
I don't think you could have chosen a better song.
Out. Yeah, and it rhymes with Ukraine.
Okay, well, our next segue is hypothetical, so give me something to think about.
BBC has a story about America. So, yeah, because we don't necessarily trust American media to give me the full scoop. Not that I trust the British. They won't give you the full scoop on the British stuff, but they'll give you this full scoop on America's fucking up shit, right? I would think. What would be their vested interest in protecting America? I can't think of one. This is from BBC.com. Anna Faguy, F-A-G-U-Y, Faguy. Pacific Palisades fire suspect snared by Chat GPT image, said investigators. Yeah, he gave himself away on Chat GPT. Well, AI is worth something, right? It's good for something. It's good for catching idiots. A 29-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of starting a Pacific Palisades fire in Los Angeles. It killed 12 people. It wasn't just a frickin' fire. It was a murder. He's only... It kind of outrages that he's not in charge of more things, but maybe later.
Yeah.
Anyways, destroyed more than 6,000 homes, which, just doing a little rough calculation, that probably affected over 10,000 people. Evidence collected from Jonathan Rinderneck's digital service devices included an image he generated on GPT depicting a burning city, Justice Department officials said. Jonathan Rinderneck. Do you want to guess what color he is? I don't know. When I first heard about this story, of course, the comments all say, oh, it's obviously a black guy. And I was like, yeah, there's a picture of him. There's a picture of him. And his name is Rinderneck. Not exactly that's a European name for sure. Anyway, one of the most, I'm just shouting out to all the racists out there that just want to blame liberals for everything. It's obviously this guy is not even from Los Angeles. He's from Florida. One of the most destructive blazes in LA history. The fire erupted on 7 January, which is 9 months ago, near a hiking trail that overlooked a wealthy coastal neighborhood. The Eaton fire ignited the same day in the LA area, killed another 19 people, and raised 9,400 structures. The cause of that fire remains unclear. Possibly arson too. Why do 2 fires start at the same time? Arson. Gotta be arson. Palisades fire scorched more than 23,000 acres and caused about $150 billion in damage. Wiping out whole neighborhoods, the conflagration raged more than 3 weeks, also ravaging parts of Topanga and Malibu. Among the thousands of structures destroyed in the fire were homes of a number of celebrities, including Mel Gibson. Oh, not Mel Gibson! I'm just joking. Paris Hilton and Jeff Bridges.
These people matter because they're rich and celebrities.
You burned down the dude's house? Oh. Man, that's I just infuriated.
I care more about the poor people who lost their houses, not the people who can just go buy another house in another state somewhere.
There aren't a lot of poor people in the Pacific Palisades, but anyway, Mr. Randeneck was arrested in Florida on Tuesday and has been charged with destruction of property by means of fire. Acting U.S. Attorney Bill Asayale told the news conference on Wednesday in Los Angeles, "The arrest, we hope, will offer a measure of justice to all those impacted. Only if we can sue this bastard. Probably doesn't have any money either." Officials said further charges, including murder, could follow. That's what I'm talking about. Murder is murder. If you're setting a fire, you don't care about people. It's the same as murder. Should be the same. Hit and run accidents, right? Hit and run accidents. These things, all the same. They should be treated like premeditated murder because you didn't care about the people you left behind. Premeditated murder is what this is. Anyway, Mr. Randeneck appeared in court on Florida on Wednesday. He did not enter a plea. He is scheduled to return to U.S. District Court in Orlando on Thursday for a bond hearing. He is not expected to enter official plea until his arraignment hearing in Los Angeles in the coming weeks. Mr. Randeneck had been living and working in California and moved to Florida shortly after. You know who he looks like? He looks like the guitar player for System of a Down. That's kind of what he looks like. With all the tattoos.
So he's Armenian is what you're saying.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what his nationality is. He's definitely not black, but I'm just looking at his face. Who does he look like? And he looks just like the lead singer for System of a Down with all the tattoos, and all the,
I don't care what race he is. It doesn't matter.
Like the bass unit. I'm just looking at his picture and who he looks like. I'm not talking about his race. I don't know anybody's race. The initial blaze Mr. Randeneck allegedly started on New Year's Day was called the Lackman Fire. Although it was quickly suppressed by firefighters, it continued to smolder underground in the root structure of dense vegetation, according to investigators, before it flared up again above ground in a windstorm. The suspect was familiar with the area because he was a former resident of Pacific Palisades, officials said. He had lived 1 block away from the Skull Rock trailhead where he allegedly started the fire. He lit it with an open flame after he completed a ride as a Uber driver in New Year's Eve, according to the indictment. 2 passengers rode with Mr. Randeneck earlier New Year's Eve. One passenger told investigators he remembered the driver had appeared agitated and angry. Officials said he had used his phone data to pinpoint his location when the fire initially started on January 1st. But when they pressed him on the details, he allegedly lied to investigators, claiming he was near the bottom of the trail. Uber said Mr. Randeneck wasn't on the popular ride-sharing app at the time of the fire, but the company worked closely with the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearms and Explosives, ATF, to help determine his whereabouts using GPS data and other relevant information. The company also said it removed Mr. Randeneck's access to its platform as soon as it learned of his suspected involvement in the fire, but it noted he passed his initial background checks in 2023 and annual check-ins thereafter. Authorities said they also found other links between Mr. Randeneck and the fire on his phone, including videos that Mr. Randeneck had taken of firefighters trying to put out the flames. The phone also showed he repeatedly called 911 just after midnight on New Year's Day, but could not get through because of patchy mobile reception on the trailhead. There was a screen recording him trying to call emergency service at one point being connected with a dispatcher. Mr. Randeneck also asked ChatGPT, "Are you at fault if a fire is lit sick because of your cigarettes?" That's the question he asked ChatGPT. Yes. Are you at fault if a fire is lit because of your cigarettes? Of course you are. You see a fire, put it out, dumbass. Investigators said the suspect wanted to preserve evidence of himself trying to assist in the suppression of fire. It's really hot and it's really dry and it hasn't rained in like 3 months. Maybe I'll just smoke a cigarette out here. What can go wrong? Nah, don't do it, jackass. Stop trying to act like somebody else did this. This is funny. I wanted to create evidence regarding a more innocent explanation for the cause of the fire, the indictment said. That's what he said he wanted to do. Investigators noted that Mr. Randeneck appeared nervous during the interview of him on the 24th of January this year, and his carotid artery would pulsate whenever he was asked who started the fire. Wow, they're really paying attention to this guy. In July 2024, 5 months before he allegedly...
that TV show that reads body language. What was the name of that show? It's like, I Know You're Always Lying or something like that.
I can't think of it. July 2024, 5 months before allegedly setting the fire, Mr. Winterneck asked ChatGPT to recreate an image of a dystopian painting that included a burning forest and a crowd of people running away from a fire, according to investigators. His prompt to AI tool included the text in the middle of the painting. Hundreds of thousands of people in poverty are trying to get past a gigantic gate with a big dollar sign on it. Oh, he wants to kill rich people for some reason. I don't understand. On the other side of the gate,
it's mystery. And I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying it's not surprising.
Maybe he just wanted to kill poor people. I'm confused. Psychotic people are hard to read. On the other side of the gate and the entire wall is a conglomerate of the richest people. They are chilling, watching the world burn down and watching the people. Yeah, so he's on the side of the rich people. Sorry, it's the opposite. So you can take back your nice things you said about him. They are chilling, watching the world burn and watching the people struggle. They're laughing, enjoying themselves, and dancing. Yeah, that's what he wants to do. He wants to kill poor people for some reason, because he's a pathetic loser. A month before allegedly setting the fire, Mr. Renderneck allegedly inputted a prompt to ChatGPT that included text, "I literally burnt the Bible that I had. It felt amazing. I felt so liberated." Oh, okay then. An outside review of the fire that was commissioned by... That's right. He's trying to prove he's doing some ritualistic thing or something, I guess. An outside review of the fire was commissioned by Los Angeles County supervisors, found that outdated policies for sending emergency alerts had delayed evacuation warnings among other official failings. Yeah. In combination of Los Angeles County not having good equipment up and running order. But again, you probably hired the lowest bidder, and the lowest bidder is going to go out there and not do their job and check the little boxes and say everything's fine and go home. Because that's what happens in government. I've seen it firsthand. Anyway, California Governor Gavin Newsom called the arrest an important step toward bringing closure to thousands of Californians whose lives were upended. He added that the state is supporting a federal investigation into the fire. Hours after Mr. Rinderkin's arrest, the Los Angeles City Fire Department released a long-awaited after-action review report on the Palisades fire, which detailed the first 36 hours of the department's response. The report, meant to identify lessons learned from response and to enhance preparedness and response for future wildfires. Fires did not have enough resources for the red flag weather conditions and hurricane force winds that fueled the fire. LAFD listed 100 challenges that firefighters faced during the Palisades fire, which burned 25 days and forced many fire responders to work for 36 to 40 hours straight. Responders were faced with inevitable consequences of perfect storm, dry vegetation, unrelenting and unusual windy activity, significant ember cast, a landscape packed with combustible vegetation, large vulnerable structures, diminishing water supply, and loss of aerial suppression support, the report said. Holy shit, it's a wonder it's still not on fire. Additionally, the firefighters were unable to secure the origin of the fire, faced with issues recalling off-duty firefighters respond, blame fire chiefs with little experience for handling a blaze of that magnitude. Delays in communicating evacuation orders and issues with arranging effective evacuations and traffic also created problems. LAFD interim fire chief Ronnie Villanueva, who replaced sacked fire chief Kristen Crawley, had to blame somebody, right? Said that he hoped that the report strengthened public confidence in Los Angeles Fire Department's readiness to respond to any future wildfires. The department said has since implemented several new processes to protect the city, including upgrading communications technology. Newsom said he's also requested a review by the nation's leading fire safety researchers. There's your story. I just have one suggestion, Los Angeles. Your city is too damn big. Break your fire department up into about 20 different departments and let them deal with local fires and have a central rallying point. Other than that, to me, it's like Los Angeles just is just too damn big. It's all spread out. But there's your story.
All I've learned from this story is that what we need to do in my hypothetical reality, is not let anybody go to Florida and not let anyone leave Florida. Okay, and then this will not happen again.
Yeah, the other comments I seen was this guy was from San Francisco.
Sorry if you were born in Florida. It was not your fault, but you're
Florida,
stuck there.
Man,
okay, you got to take an exit survey in order to leave Florida.
Yeah, Florida's not the worst state in the country, but it's close. I like the comments online. I like the comments online where saying he was from San Francisco, and I was like, yeah, so. Who cares where he's from? It really doesn't make any difference where he's from. He's a freaking murderer, basically. A premeditated murderer. Allegedly.
He's guilty of arson, at least. And he's also guilty of...
Allegedly.
Of revealing that he did the crime because he's a coward, I suppose.
We're
guilty of being a coward.
We're not going to convict him without a trial. He's allegedly guilty. But yeah, he's been arrested. Next spin, because
he's at least a coward or something. Am I responsible for a fire if I set a cigarette and threw it on the ground? Yes. A 12-year-old, a 5-year-old could tell you that. I'm just saying, what a stupid thing to ask on Google.
Yeah.
Right, let's go to our next segue in our next story. Mm-hmm. This one will be shorter, and it's all about my favorite drama in England. The water companies. As they continue giving you disease-riddled, poop-riddled water, and then they say you gotta pay us top dollar for it. I'm sure it's not all the companies. It's mostly London. It's mostly the London water, but still. You have to tell me a joke.
A joke, okay. Gotcha.
So.
All right.
Ofwat, which is the regulator for the water in England, has told the water companies they cannot increase their prices, but the companies have now... Oh, my camera just froze, and there, I'm back. The companies have now appealed the decision and said they are going to increase water bills. This is from Josie Clark on The Independent. Millions of households face higher water bills after 5 utility companies were provisionally granted permission to increase charges beyond the initial regulatory limits. So let's say the limit is you only charge everyone 50 pounds a month. Well, now they can charge you 80 pounds a month. Something like that. The Competition and Markets Authority, CMA, confirmed that after an appeal, independent experts have allowed Anglian Water, Northumbrian Water, South East Water, Southern Water, and Wessex Water to raise their tariffs. To be fair, I don't think any of these companies are the ones responsible for, the sewage and the water. That's not these guys, so that's probably why they've been allowed, because they don't deserve to be punished for other companies' bad decisions and bad regulation. The firms had argued that Ofwat's original decision would prevent them from meeting essential regulatory obligations. Consequently, Anglian and Northumbrian Water can now increase bills by an additional 1%. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but for some people it might be. Southern Water by 3%, Southeast Water by 4%, and Wessex Water by 5%. Wow, Wessex Water must have some really good water if they're allowed to increase it by that much. Southern Water had already secured a 53% average bill hike over the next 5 years, yet sought a further 15% increase. Well, fuck Southern Water. If your company is Southern Water, I don't know, find a new one. I don't know if you can actually do that, but fuck Southern Water. Anglian Water has been allowed at 29%. And yeah, that's so crazy. They're asking for a 50% increase plus another 50. That's a 75% increase in price. Anglian Water has been allowed for 29% and asked for 10% more, while Southeast has been granted 25% and asked for a further 18%. That's crazy, but they've asked for 18, but they only got 4. So they asked for 18, they got 4. I think is this like some sort of haggling, right? Where you say, I want a ridiculous amount for this, but I really want you to give me this much. Yeah, I got the pennies still. Wessex and Northumbrian, who were allowed a 21% increase originally, asked for another 8% and 6% respectively. The CMA said a provisional decision allowed for 21% or an additional £556 million in revenue. of a total of 2.7 billion pounds the 5 companies requested. Okay. So, not only did they originally want almost like 20% increases in the prices they were charging, but they also wanted 2.7 billion pounds in revenue total. That's how much revenue they wanted to make. And they got denied all of that. They got a lesser percent increase, and they got only 500 million instead of 2 billion. That's a pretty nice cut to how much revenue these water companies are trying to make. Kristen Baker, who chaired the independent group of experts appointed by the CMA to consider price control, said, "We found that water companies' requests for significant bill increases on top of those allowed by Ofwat are largely unjustified." I want to make more money. Why won't you let me make more money? You're a water company.
Yeah, you're public service, not a frickin'.
Okay, sure, you're privately owned. That's only because the government sold stocks to private companies or whatever, right? They're probably, what do you call them? Like partially public, partially private. They're not all the way. Otherwise, the regulations wouldn't matter. Right? They're being regulated by the government. Hence, they are still partially controlled by the government.
They're public service.
Yeah. We understand the real pressure on household budgets and have worked to keep increases to a minimum while still ensuring the funding to deliver essential improvements at a reasonable cost. The CMA said the extra money would fund more resilient supply, reduce pollution, and reflect increased financing costs. In December, Ofwat said it would allow water firms to raise bills by an average of £157 or 36%. That's crazy.
We're going to charge you more for water so we can make it cleaner. Why don't you make it cleaner first?
Then I'll pay for the money I'll pay for the water when I know it's actually clean. But in March, Ofwat formally referred requests from 5 companies for a redetermination of their bill increase allowance after they argued that the decision left them unable to meet regulatory requirements set out for them. You know what? I need $5,000 to live, please. Don't just trust me, okay? Everyone needs to give me money right now. Because I'm telling you, I cannot meet my regulatory requirements unless you don't give me $5,000 right now. And I'm not going to give you any more reasons. And that's what the water companies seem to be doing. Trust us! We can't meet your regulations if you don't let us make more money. You mean you can't pay your CEOs and your managers a lot of cash?
Right.
Right. We promised a bonus this year because we thought we were going to get 36% increase or whatever, 75% for Southern Water. Those fuckers. Yeah. Anyways, Water Minister Emma Hardy said, "I understand the public's anger over bill rises. That's why I expect every water company to offer proper support for anyone struggling to pay. We've made sure that investment cash goes into infrastructure upgrades, not into something else, right? They are investing their revenue into themselves to make sure their water is clean, and that's the only thing they should be investing into, not bonuses. And we're creating a tough new regulator to clean up our waterways and restore trust in the system." This is somebody from the government, by the way, right? Not the water companies. "We are laser focused on helping ease the cost of living pressure on households. We've frozen fuel duty, raised the minimum wage and pensions, and brought down mortgage rates, putting more money in people's pockets to pay for water." But I really do hope that's true, that they are making sure these investments are not going into bonuses.
Falls out of the sky for free.
I need to pay out my CEO so we can fire him next year, okay? So I need to increase my bills.
Water just falls out of the sky. Just put it in a rain barrel, for God's sake.
It does, but you can't just drink it. Yeah, you should. If you can, if you are struggling anywhere in the world.
Yeah, buy a water filter.
Not just England, but anywhere. I know there's some states in the United States that make it illegal for you to collect water, but how the fuck do they regulate that? They have to check everyone's yard.
They can't.
The trash can has water in it. Are you storing water from this guy? You're not allowed to do that.
Right. Water belongs to everybody. I don't know how governments get to say it doesn't.
Just go to Home Depot or your local garden store, buy yourself a really big trash can, put it under your gutter, and collect water. Whatever.
Yeah, and if you want to drink it, you just got to filter it.
Yeah.
I mean, the water coming out of your tap comes from God knows where, and you drink that.
Well, I think to be fair, they do put it through chemical processes to kill viruses and disease.
Well, so, right, you do it in your own home too. Like I'm saying, exact same thing you do in your own home. You can boil it and run it through a filter. Amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
You got a segue for me?
Oh, is that? Yeah. Is it supposed to be a joke? Well, here's an ad from the government of England or the Water Authority or whatever. Here's a little ad I made for them. Hey, Londoners! New expensive water is on the way, including 4 new flavors: clear, cloudy, extra cloudy, and parasite ripple. There's your joke.
I have new flavors.
I want some of that parasite ripple, man. Well, you're paying extra. You got to get extra ingredients.
So many sparkly
Nobody
colors.
wants ordinary.
I'm really sad that got rid of oil spill because that was actually my favorite one. It had a rainbow in it. Everyone loves a rainbow in their water.
Oh, it had a rainbow. Yeah. Plus, it would lubricate your dishwasher when you cleaned it, right?
Dishwasher lubrication. All right, let's go to our next segue. I got a bonus joke there.
Right. Yeah, man. All right, let's do our list. We're done our list.
Yeah, that's right. Give me your top or your. You'll explain it. I'll associate with something.
This list is from our. This latest list from our 70s hippie correspondent that we just hired. His name is Hacky McBonghit, and he
Bonghit.
He put together a list. We got together last night and we watched. I subscribe to Apple Plus or whatever their video
Apple
service
TV.
is. 7-day free trial, and the 7th day was yesterday. So I was watching a special about Steve Martin. It was about Steve Martin, and it was including Steve Martin and everybody, Martin Short and all these people. And everybody's ever known, basically. And it was going over all those movies, and I was thinking, God, he really did make a lot of good movies, especially at the start, right? And a lot of them were unappreciated for their groundbreaking.
Reminder for anybody who doesn't know Steve Martin, he started out as a touring stand-up comic, right? So he's not an actor by trade, originally.
Right. Steve Martin, the story, again, if you got Apple TV or whatever it's called, you can watch the story, but he started out as basically working at Disneyland and as a 12-year-old. He had a job at Disneyland, and he eventually just became a magician, did a big stage act, and he was the first comedian, the very first comedian to sell out entire stadiums of 45,000 people at his height. And at the very height of his comic power, he knew that his act was going to get thin, it was going to get hackneyed, he didn't want to do it anymore. He quit. He stopped doing stand-up and went into movies. And his very first movie was called The Jerk. So that's number 1 on our list. The Jerk, also written by Carl Reiner, famous comedy writer. The Jerk, of course, about Navin Johnson, who was a white guy raised as a poor black child, goes to the city, gets rich, and gets poor, and gets rich again. So it's a great story. It's funny. It has a lot of great lines. Classic Steve Martin bits throughout the movie. And it was a big hit.
What's your favorite bit from the film?
Oh, it's probably the one where he leaves his mansion. He loses all of his money and he leaves his mansion. He's like, I don't need one other thing. I need this. I got this. I got my paddle ball. I got the chair. I got the lamp. I don't need one other thing. I need this. He keeps grabbing stuff as he leaves the house.
The materialism comes back. Yeah.
I don't need one other thing. And all the people leave because he's not rich anymore. Hey, it's great. Number 2, Pennies from Heaven, which was the critics liked it, and the audiences didn't go because, hey, he isn't funny as hell this time. Pennies from Heaven was one of these things where he learned to dance and he did a lot of lip syncing of singing. Very eclectic movie, but again, it didn't do good box office. People said, oh, it's a terrible movie. But if you watch it, it's not a terrible movie. So Pennies from Heaven, which, again, it featured Steve Martin as a singer, lip-syncing other people's songs as an experiment. And again, if you watch it, you go, wow, this is really innovative. You may not like it, but at least he tried. Number 3 is Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, which is very next movie, which was film noir. A film noir. It was in black and white, and it was
cool.
Steve Martin.
No, he did a film
Steve
noir.
Martin. Yeah, it was film noir, but it's also Steve Martin in black and white, and all the people who are talking to him are not necessarily in the movie. They're from other movies. So again, he's experimenting with a way to make movies that very few people have tried. Dead Man Don't Wear Plaid has, like I said, it's not slapstick comedy. It's just clever as hell. Number 4, The Man with Two Brains is slapstick comedy. So he went back to slapstick comedy after that. Again, Carl Reiner helped him write. The Man with Two Brains has some of the funniest lines in history of show business. The favorite scene from there is where he gets pulled over by the cops in Germany. And, it was Switzerland. He gets pulled over by the cops in Switzerland. He's in Geneva, I believe. He gets pulled over by the cops in Switzerland, and instead of just giving him a regular drunk test, they make him juggle balls and sing a song, and he passes all the tests. It's so funny. That's the funniest thing for The Man with Two Brains, but it still is hilarious. It's about a guy who falls in love. Yeah, he's a brain surgeon, right? And he falls in love with a brain. He has a telepathic conversations with a brain in a jar, and he eventually tries to put it in his wife's head. His wife, who is very played by Kathleen Turner, who is very beautiful, but she's horrible and she cheats on him. And The Man with Two Brains, a great Steve Martin movie. That's probably his second best, I think, movie. Number 5 is The Lonely Guy, which is, according to Steve Martin, very autobiographical. He spent a lot of time in his life alone, right? He was completely alone. In fact, when he got rich, Steve Martin got really rich really fast. He had nothing to spend his money on because he had no wife, he had no kids. He had completely alone. Didn't even have a girlfriend, right? Because he was always tragic. On the road. He didn't want to drag anybody through that. Think about it.
Family either? No family calling saying, "Hey, Steve, remember me? I'm your uncle."
He has family now. But when he was the lonely guy, if you know what Charles Grodin is, him and Charles Grodin, great movie. It's about lonely guys. It's about, it's about a specific type of guy. A guy cannot absolutely doesn't necessarily hate being lonely, but he maybe thinks he wants to try meeting somebody, that kind of thing. And it's a comedy, but it's actually kind of deep. All of Me was the one where Steve Martin got all kinds of award nominations. I believe he got an Academy Award nomination for that, where he plays two people. He plays Lily Tomlin and himself. In other words, he's a lawyer for a woman. And I believe he's a lawyer for Lily Tomlin, and Lily Tomlin's about to die, and she has a, what do you call those guys, a spiritualist, who says, we're going to have your spirit go into this body, and have a person in the room who her spirit's supposed to go into. And by accident, her spirit goes into Steve Martin, but Steve Martin's there, so now he's half Lily Tomlin dies. Now he's half Lily Tomlin and half Steve Martin, and the rest of the movie is him struggling with half of his body, and eventually it comes out great. It's a really good movie. Yeah, it's a really good movie, and Steve Martin again does all the great acting of being pulled in two different directions. Steve Martin, the actor, really hit his mark there. That was number 6, All of Me. Number 7 is Three Amigos. You might have heard this one. This is where he first started with his best friend now, Martin Short, and nobody's best friend, Chevy Chase.
Everyone's enemy, Chevy Chase.
Right. Three Amigos had the same exact plot as, not the same exact plot, but a similar plot to Galaxy Quest. Galaxy Quest, the aliens thought the Galaxy Quest actors were real space travelers, and in Three Amigos, a Mexican village thinks that the silent movie actors of Three Amigos are actual crime fighters. So they invite them to their village, and they think they're going there for Hollywood,
from the
glamour appearance. And in a real town in Mexico, thinks these actors, these prima donna actors, are going to protect them from El Chapo, the local villain. And of course, well, you got to watch the movie. It's a really funny movie. Number 8 is Roxanne, another hilarious movie. It's based on the play Cyrano de Bergerac, whose the object of Cyrano's affections was Roxanne. The movie itself is called Roxanne, and Steve Martin himself plays a guy named CD. Get that? CD? Cyrano de Bergerac.
Oh, okay.
And he's the fire chief on a small island. And Roxanne is played by Neil Young's wife. Can't think of her name. Daryl Hannah. Daryl Hannah plays the Roxanne. And of course, Roxanne is totally being courted by this meathead, good-looking guy who can't even get out of his own way. And he doesn't know how to talk to Roxanne, so Steve Martin fills in the blanks, helps him court Roxanne. Of course, he's the one that's really in love with Roxanne, and you got to know how it ends. If you watch Colonel Bergerac, you will figure that out. Number 9 is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with the great, late John Candy. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, John Hughes movie. Don't forget John Hughes, who made a lot of great comedies.
Other than Cheaper by the Dozen, I think this is the only Steve Martin film I've actually watched from start to end. It's the one where they stay in the hotel, right? They get stuck.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of places they stay. We should put the years on these, right? Because these both were 1987. 86 was Three Amigos. 87 was Roxanne, and later in 87, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, a great movie. John Candy. Steve Martin plays a guy trying to get back from New York City in time for Thanksgiving. You're going to watch this on Thanksgiving because it's going to be on every TV. Planes, Trains, and John Candy plays a curtain ring salesman. A shower curtain ring, right? Shower curtain ring salesman. Probably something that doesn't even exist, but that's what he plays. Steve Martin plays a businessman trying to get back to his nice house in Chicago from a trip to New York, and they end up traveling together the whole damn way. Great movie. Number 10, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, featuring Michael Caine and Steve Martin as a couple con men in a French resort town who are trying to rip off, rich widows, and they make a good living at it. So, rich widows giving their money to these playboys. The Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, a great movie, has a great twist at the end. I love this movie. It's awesome. That was 1988. 1989, he made another great movie, Parenthood. If you haven't seen Parenthood, it's a great movie. It features brothers and sisters who are trying to raise their kids, and they're all different kinds of kids. It's just telling you, man, basically the lesson of the end of this movie is they're your kids. They're not a problem. They're your kids. Right? That's the whole lesson of the story. You made kids, stop complaining. Okay? So Parenthood, again, is a lot of comedies. You got Rick Moranis in it, among other people. Diane Wiest plays his sister, who Keanu Reeves is in it. If you like Keanu Reeves, you know. In fact, Keanu Reeves plays a big role in this movie. So go see Parenthood. LA Story was Steve Martin making a Woody Allen movie, because Woody Allen famously made a movie called New York Story, or NY Story, or whatever. But LA Story is featured his first wife, Victoria Merchant. So he did get married. They're divorced now, but she's a British lady, and she was in LA Story. LA Story is a good story. It has a lot of different people in it, a lot of different stories. It's been a long time since I've seen it. I think I will watch it again. The best scene from that is where he pulls off the freeway, and one of those freeway signs is telling him what to do. He's the only one that can see this freeway sign talking to him, but it's telling him something. So he's sitting on the side of like the 405, looking at a freeway sign, and it's telling him something, and he's asking the questions, and it's answering the questions. So, just Steve Martin stealing from Woody Allen a little bit. And number 13 is Bowfinger. A lot of people didn't like this movie. This is Steve Martin and Eddie Murphy. And Eddie Murphy plays an actor who Steve Martin is trying to get into his film. He's trying to get, I need this guy in my film. But he can't get him to talk. He can't get him to answer his phone. He can't get his agent to do anything. So instead of getting him in the film, he just follows him around and films him in his everyday life doing stuff. And he hires a lookalike, played also by Eddie Murphy, to play him in the other scenes. And so, pretty good. A lot of people didn't like it. I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. Plus, I'm always just down watching Eddie Murphy in anything. So, there's your 13, your Thursday 13, which is your first 13 Steve Miller movie. Don't take Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller's a pile of shit. Steve Martin. Steve Martin's first 13 movies that made him a movie star, which he is now a movie star. No longer, he hasn't been a stand-up comic since 1978. He has not done a stand-up act.
Yeah,
again,
I think I mentioned this during your first few ones, but my associate will be, the only other film I've seen him in, Cheaper by a Dozen, which had Hilary Duff. I think it also had.
They did 2 of those.
Alison Stoner might have been in that. There's a lot of Disney kids in that film, so that's probably why I originally watched it.
Cheaper by the Dozen too.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen the second film. I remember the first one.
Yeah, he's done a lot of movies like that.
iCarly, before she was in iCarly, I forget her name. It had a lot of famous child actors in it. Like all 12 of the famous child actors, right? Cheaper by the Dozen. I don't even remember the plot of the film, but he was funny in it.
He has a lot of kids.
Yeah.
He has a lot of kids. Yeah. Yeah. Cheaper by the Dozen. He did Sergeant Bilko remake. He did Father of the Bride remake. The old but that was, and he did Father of the Bride too. But again, that's what you do when you're a movie star, right? You do movies just because the name sells. Steve Martin, I'm going to see that, and it's not necessarily the greatest movie in history, but hey. But he's definitely made a lot of great movies since.
I think he's always been funny, and that's definitely a strength.
Yeah.
Not that he hasn't been serious, right? But he's been serious.
I was going to send you a clip, and it's going to be his. He used to do a magic act, right? But anyway, maybe I'll find another clip.
It's not the magic act you've ever shown me, because we've already done that clip before.
No, it's the magic act where he's still pulling things out of a hat. He pulls things out of his fly.
Yeah.
And it's real magic. He is a real magician. He was a magician before he was a comedian. And he is the one
we did before is like the kind of dick joke one where there's like something under the cloth.
Yeah, it was basically the same thing. But it was more like pretty girl walks by, and instead of flowers coming out of a hat, they come out of his fly. They just pop out of his fly. And he gives her the flowers. I don't think I'll play that one. It kind of gets. But anyway, there's your list.
Okay, let's roll our segue wheel.
The only comedian in the Banjo Hall of Fame. The only comedian in the Banjo Hall of Fame. He's up there with people like.
We love multi-talented people around here.
He's up there with people like Pete Seeger. Pete Seeger and.
Pete Seeger's in the Banjo Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's a banjo player. That's what he played.
I didn't know that. The next segue is hypothetical. They ought to shut the fucking place down. And we're going to talk about my culture news, which is about One Piece and Hunger Games, and I don't know why who wrote this article. I don't know why David Morquan thinks One Piece and Hunger Games aren't political, but according to this headline, I'm sure he doesn't write the headlines, right?
What's my segue?
Somebody else who writes the headlines. According to this headline, Hunger Games and One Piece have turned political, even though they've already been political this entire time. But why has they're been used as symbols for actual protests is the real question.
What's my spin?
Hypothetical.
Okay, all right.
They have begun to adopt a symbol from a popular manga for their protest movements. Here's why the One Piece flag has become a globally recognized symbol of revolt, and how there is precedence when it comes to using cultural touchstones as protest rallying cries. When young people challenge the establishment, they often adopt fictional works or pop culture iconography in their protests, with some images and symbols becoming unlikely rallying cries. From Hunger Games to V for Vendetta to The Handmaid's Tale. In co-opted memes like Pepe the Frog, the use of fictional characters and images reveals that culture and politics are inextricably intertwined, especially for young activists and a digitally savvy generation who uses social media to communicate their thoughts, hopes, and fears through cultural references. Also, I've said this many times before on the show, art is political. I don't care if it's hand drawing to, the best made Oscar-worthy film. All art is political to me. They're trying to tell you a story about something. You're trying to make you think about something. So, I'm really tired of this. Oh, it's political, so it's bad thing. Right. I don't know why that. I don't know who to blame for that, but it's not. That's not the problem. Okay, things being political is not a negative or positive thing. It's just a fact. Right. The latest
Only
symbols
the
of
comfortable
protest is
people
the
think
straw
it's
hat
bad.
skull from the manga One Piece. It's also an anime. A Japanese animation. A pirate flag has popped up everywhere in recent continent-spanning protests against repression and government corruption, becoming the go-to symbol for disaffected youth and Gen Z to be heard. A bit of background first for those who aren't familiar with One Piece. It's a popular Japanese manga created by Eiichiro Oda. In a nutshell, it follows the adventures of the Straw Hat Pirates who stand up for those oppressed by repressive rulers and authoritarian corruption, a fight against tyranny under the flag, the Jolly Roger. First published in 1997, the year which coincidentally marks the first year of Gen Z's births, the manga has become a worldwide phenomenon, selling more than 500 million copies and being translated into 40 languages. It holds the Guinness World Record for the most copies published in the same comic book series by a single author, and has spawned an animated TV series, a live-action Netflix show, as well as several films. I thought the live-action Netflix show was really good. Personally, the flag of the grinning skull has been seen at protests in Nepal, Indonesia, the Philippines, Morocco, France, Italy, and the UK. Whether the One Piece image is seen as a student protest, rallies against police brutality, protests on governmental social media bans, or a pro-Palestine demonstration, a common visual denominator reflects how the manga symbol has resonated with Gen Z, who have adopted it as their symbol for defiance and ultimately hope. It is hardly an unexpected symbol, as it stands for freedom and resistance against oppression for the source material, ragtag rebels, and now IRL in real life. The fictional world making its way into the real one represents a useful transfer, as narratives and their values are not limited to the borders of their causes, thereby creating a global sense of unification, a shared language of solidarity. Long story short, wow, this manga, which is based on real probably government corruption that happens every day, was taken from the TV and then put back into the real world. Surprise. The thing that was based off real stuff that actually happened. It is kind of sad that people think that the actions that occur in V for Vendetta or the Hunger Games, right, are fictional. The Handmaid's Tale. Right. This stuff is fictional. No, this stuff is based off real things that have happened in history. Maybe they're not happening right now, right? But they've happened, and they're based on that. The Handmaid's Tale, that happens. There's people who are still living on that kind of suppressive government, right? Suppressive culture.
Go anywhere, any Islamic country. Handmaid's Tale. You don't own your body. I mean,
it's not just Islam, but yes, I understand what you're saying.
I didn't say it isn't just Islam. I said every Islamic republic, every republic that just has the religion running the government. That's who they are.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of countries have religions running the government, and that's the biggest problem with religion itself. It should not be running governments. Maybe I'm a bit American for that. As a response to anti-abortion legislation, The Handmaid's Tale, policies threatening reproductive rights, the dystopian book and TV series, the handmaids are made to wear the uniform under the law of Gilead, the dystopian country in which fertile women are forced into childbearing servitude. The costume frequently reappears in women's rights demonstrations worldwide, from Argentina's 2018 demonstrations for abortion rights to the 2019 protests against convicted felon Trump's visits to the UK. You also have the series of young adult books by Susan Collins, The Hunger Games, starring Jennifer Lawrence, that contained several symbols of resistance against fascism. The character Katniss Everdeen, as a way to show our solidarity with the oppressed, has used a silent gesture of defiance, which is the three finger. This is also like the Girl Scouts thing. So it's, when they started doing it in the Hunger Games, I'm like, isn't this the Girl Scouts thing? I'm sure they're both the same. And she formed an anti-military coup demonstration in Thailand. Oh, sorry, she didn't do that. 2014 and onwards, a lot of anti-military coup demonstrations in Thailand to Hong Kong used that symbol, right, as a protest for universal suffrage. Then, of course, you've got V for Vendetta. The international hacktivist group Anonymous started using the movie's iconic Guy Fawkes mask to conceal their identities during protests. The mask became widespread in 2011 during Occupy movement and has lasted as a face of dissent symbol, taking aim at corrupt systems and governments. As V states in the movie, people should not be afraid of their governments. Government should be afraid of the people. Thank you, Hugo Weaving. That is Hugo Weaving under the mask.
That doesn't help Republicans. They're afraid of their people.
Another one, of course, is the Joker. After the aftermath of civil war, Lebanese protesters demonstrating against the government's new austerity measures in 2019 adopted the likeness of Clown Prince of Crime, with many taking inspiration for Joaquin Phoenix's face paint in Joker. It's a getup that is recognized worldwide, and one which grants anonymity to demonstrators in the case of Lebanese protesters, allowed their strife to gain heightened visibility. The Joker also stands the symbol of rebellion, embodying a disregard for societal norms and conventions. As such, the use of the clown face signifies a reminder to embrace irreverence towards the established order, making it a popular emblem in protests worldwide. Finally, there's the Pepe the Frog meme. The alt-right MAGA and Trump himself, who tweeted a meme of Pepe during 2016's election, adopted the green frog image as a way to appeal to the youth. American cartoonist Matt Fury created the image in 2005 and was furious at how his creation had been co-opted in such a hateful way. Before killing off the character in a 2017 comic, he wrote an essay for Time in which he said, "It's completely insane that Pepe has been labeled as a symbol of hate, and that racists and anti-Semites are using the once peaceful frog dude from my comic book as an icon of hate. Despite Pepe being used by alt-right in the West, it's reappropriated and reclaimed by Hong Kong protesters in pro-democracy demonstrations in 2019. And also, I think, as you continue, just keep using it. It is really sad that somebody took a symbol you created, right? It would make more sense if you were the racist, the outright guy, and then you made the frog and said, yeah, here's my outright guy. But somebody co-opted it. Somebody stole his image and made it into some sort of hateful symbol. And that's kind of the risk here. Because we did talk a lot about some positive symbolism in pop culture. But I guess that one, in a way, got twisted to a negative one. But there is your short little list of ways pop culture has resurfaced it politically, even though it's always been political, to help increase support for protests all around the globe.
Yeah, it would be the reason this stuff is always going to be like metaphorical and not out front for you is because you can't say things because the government will censor you. But even when they say you have freedom of speech, you can't say that on a record. So you got to kind of shade things and put them in different words. But the people that are listening to it, hey, that's a metaphor. Which intelligent people understand, but most unintelligent people don't know what metaphors are and they take things literally. But there's your hypothetical. Wouldn't it be nice?
A lot of these things can be taken literally because it's like, wow, this girl fights against a fascist government. That's pretty literal right there. It's written on the page, you know. V for Vendetta literally says, the government should fear you, not you should fear the government. Oh, what is this secret symbology? It's like, it's right there, dude.
It's literal, except the stupid people believe that the government, the evil part of the government is the one that helps poor people, right? The stupid people think that. Oh, they're just making them poor people lazy. I'm like, I don't know what the hell that even means. How does helping you with your basic needs make you lazy? I have no idea. But
I wish I've been poor my whole life. You know, that just becomes facts because I say it out loud.
Right, that would be nice. Yeah, if you're rich,
I'm a millionaire. Oh, and let me check my bank account.
Are you serious? People calling me while I'm on the show. Seriously.
I'm sorry, it didn't work. I said I'm a millionaire and it didn't become true.
Damn it. Well, just keep saying it.
Yeah,
it's like
I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire.
Keep saying it.
Okay, let's roll our segue for this day in history. Did you send me a video? Did you find one? Not yet. Okay, well.
Maybe you can find one while I'm talking. Because I got a little bit of a longer segment. Because I am doing Rocktober first before I do this day in history. I'll do the Rocktober today.
I'll write you a haiku.
The 9th day of Rocktober, we'll have a haiku about this day, born on this day. We don't necessarily do births, but Sean Lennon was born on this day. Happy birthday to Sean Lennon, turning 50. You want to feel old? I really feel old now. Sean Lennon is 50. The son of John Lennon and Yoko Ono.
But you were a child when the Beatles came out, so it makes sense that... Yeah.
I just remember 5-year-old Sean Lennon when his dad was murdered, and it was horrible, right? It was just horrible. It was horrible, man. Little little boy. Never got to grow up with his dad. Out there also on this day, Eddie Cochran, let's see, we got Ray Charles started a 2-week run at number 1 the U.S. singles charts with Hit the Road, Jack. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Yeah. Written by the rhythm and blues singer Percy Mayfield, the song also gave Charles a number 6 hit in the UK chart and won a Grammy Award for Best Rhythm and Blues Recording.
Didn't somebody cover that song?
I only know the Ray Charles. I don't know the Ray Charles version of it, but I'm sure hundreds of people covered it because Ray Charles didn't write it, right? This Percy Mayfield guy wrote it. I don't think Ray Charles would change the lyrics to songs that existed already. Hit the road, Jack, and then he would call on himself. But yeah, Ray Charles wrote "I Got a Woman." That's a good song. 1964, Beach Boys recorded Dance, Dance, Dance with Glenn Campbell playing lead guitar. Intro would become their 12th U.S. Top 40 hit. Let's get past that. 1965, the Beatles started a 4-week run with the U.S. single chart with Paul McCartney ballad Yesterday, giving the group its 10th U.S. number 1.
All my troubles seem so far away.
The track was not released as a single in the UK until 1976. And that album cover, Yesterday and Today, is famous for having the butcher shot, which was removed almost immediately. If you've ever seen the butcher shot, it was the Beatles posing, and we're going to talk about abortions or whatever, but it was the Beatles posing with a bunch of dolls with their heads and torsos, like, torn apart, right? Weird album cover that the record company said, yeah, we're not going to put that out anymore, and they had to change the album cover. What else on this day? We got one more thing today. 1971, Rod Stewart hit his first number 1 hit with Maggie May. Yes, it was that number 1 UK singles chart. Maggie May first releases the B-side to Reason to Believe. I bought this single, and I do. Reason to Believe is a good song. The first of the 6 UK number 1s for Stewart spent 5 weeks at the top of the chart. So that's this day in rock history, Rocktober. And we're going to do this day in regular history. There was no rock and roll in 1514, but Mary Tudor, sister of King Henry VIII of England, became the 3rd wife of King Louis XII of France on day. Of course, Mary Tudor, known as Bloody Mary. And speaking of rocking and rolling, a lot of heads went rocking and rolling off their bodies into a basket. Terrible joke. 1635, Roger Williams, not the piano player, but Roger Williams was banished from Massachusetts Bay Colony, and as a result, he later founded the colony of Rhode Island. Yeah, that's right. He was not Puritan enough for the Puritans in Massachusetts Bay Colony. He said, I'm out of here. I'm going to form my own colony. Still called Rhode Island to this day, the smallest state in the United States, and a unit of measure that people use. You can put 16 Rhode Islands in there, they say. In 1888, built between 1848 and 1884 and dedicated in 1885, the Washington Monument. Open to the public in Washington, D.C. Yes, a marble-faced granite obelisk that honors the first U.S. President George Washington. It's a giant phallic symbol in Washington, D.C. that you can use to locate things. Where am I? Oh, there's that big thing. We're not too close. We're not too far away from that. 1936, the Boulder Dam, later called the Hoover Dam, on the Arizona-Nevada border, began generating electricity for areas such as Los Angeles, was celebrated with a parade. Of course, now the Hoover Dam just creates electricity for all those lights in Las Vegas, which is a dying town, which I mean, if you're going to Las Vegas to gamble, why? You can gamble just about anywhere. You can gamble on your phone in a lot of states. Again, Las Vegas is suffering because the Canadian tourists are not coming this year. 1882, Anna Freud, psychoanalyst, author, and daughter of Sigmund Freud, died in London. I wonder what she had to say about relationships with fathers and daughters, eh? 1990, David Souter took his seat as U.S. Supreme Court Associate Justice. He's no longer there. He was appointed by Bush, but turned into kind of a liberal, which was... In the old days, the Supreme Court actually had honest people appointing him, but that stopped in 1991 because we got
stop talking about
Clarence
fake
Thomas.
Stuff. That's never happened.
1991, Italian playwright Dario Fo was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature. Well, it's Nobel Prize week. In 2001, the United Service Organization, or the USO, appointed entertainer Wayne Newton as its official celebrity frontman, replacing Bob Hope, who had served in that capacity since the early 1950s. Wayne Newton's still around. I wonder if he still has that job. 2012, the Taliban gunman shot 15-year-old Pakistani activist Malala Yousafzai, a vocal opponent of the ultra-conservative group's prohibition of the education of girls. Despite being struck in the head, she survived the assassination attempt, and she went on to win the Nobel Prize in 2014. So happy anniversary to her winning the Nobel Prize 2 years after she got shot. 2024, Ratan Tata, former chairman of the Tata Group, who was widely admired for his personal ethics and philanthropic activities, died in Mumbai. So an Indian man with a lot of philanthropic stuff. Doesn't say how old he was when he died. And we're going to go back to 2004 for our featured event, our first Afghan presidential elections. Of course, they're not being run by the Taliban again, so they're not having that shit anymore. On this day in 2004, for the first time in Afghanistan's history, voters went to the polls to choose a president, selecting Hamid Karzai. I wonder if he's even alive anymore, who had served as the interim president after the fall of the Taliban regime in 2001. So that didn't last. Let's go to our feature biography. Charles X, King of France. Yeah, France had a lot of Charleses, and this guy was born on October 9th, 1757 in Versailles. And he died in Gorizia, Italy at the age of 79 on November 6, 1836. What was he doing in Italy? I don't know. He was stealing the Mona Lisa. That's what he was doing. Just kidding. In 1940, we're of other birthdays today. John Lennon's birthday. Yes, his son was born on his birthday. One of those coincidences. It's John Lennon and Sean Lennon's birthday, so happy birthday to both of them. John Lennon would be 85 if he was around today. And of course, he was assassinated. 1948, Jackson Browne was born, has the same birthday as John Lennon. Good for him. 1966, David Cameron, former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. It's his birthday. PJ Harvey, British songwriter and guitarist, born in 1969. It's Steve McQueen's birthday. Not the actor, not the guy in Bullet, not the guy in, Papillon. Steve McQueen, the British director, screenwriter, and artist. I don't know any of his films, but I'm sure I've probably seen a couple of them. I recognize the name anyway. So happy birthday to him. He's turning 56. National Day calendar is only 3 things. National Pro-Life Cupcake Day, and I guess we covered the pro-life thing before the show. Pro-life is one of the silliest things I've ever heard in my life, because the people that are pro-life also are in favor of the death penalty. And there's 13 states in this country that ban abortion, but want to kill people when they're adults, which makes no fucking sense whatsoever. We're going to predict zygotes that you can't even see without a microscope, but we're not going to protect humans from terrible juries, bad judges, and frame-ups by cops. We're not going to protect them at all, but we're going to protect somebody who may or may not be a human someday. Yay! It's National Moldy Cheese Day, so yum. I love me some moldy cheese. I'm going to get some later. I don't actually have any blue cheese dressing in the house. I don't have any moldy cheese. Damn it. And I don't feel like going anywhere, so I might be skipping it. It's also Pans and Pandas Aware Day. Pandas and Pandas, we had to look up. It's not about the cute little bears that we think are cute, and they'll rip your face off if you get close enough. But in the United States, nearly 1 in 200 children are diagnosed with PANS, P-A-N-S, and PANDAS, P-A-N-D-A-S. Symptoms of PANS and PANDAS come in suddenly following a strep bacterial viral infection. The symptoms include tics, not wood ticks, just your face doing this all the time. Sudden onset obsessive compulsive disorder. Wow, that's hard to diagnose, huh? Let me clean the house.
It's not that easy.
Deterioration. Deterioration in skills. So that's begins refusing foods and becomes selective in foods they will eat. Anxiety, depression, reduced performance in school, sensitivity to touch and sound, sleep changes, hyperactivity, uncontrolled movements, and rheumatic pain. That sounds like that's my entire childhood. I must have had this. But there's
so?
that. Your stories, your clickbait headlines, your fires, everything. For November 9th, 2025 on Before Moldy Cheese.
All right. Delicious. Well, let's have some haikus. I have 4 haikus for you. The first haiku.
You have a video for me? First of all.
Yes, I sent you a link. It's Steve Martin and Martin Short and Selena Gomez just having a laugh at the Emmys.
Oh, yeah. If you know, Steve Martin currently starring in Only Murders in the Building for like the last 10 years. Ever since the pandemic.
Actors, yeah,
they started it during the pandemic, and it's been redone for like 5 seasons now.
Right, so my first haiku is, votes cast in the sun, hope blooms in a fragile land, voices rise as one.
Uh-oh, I gotta do 2 things at once. I gotta do my soundboard. Oh, okay.
Next is...
Come on, crowd.
It's not funny, but thank you. It's not fun. Most haikus aren't comedic.
I'm multitasking.
Hit the road, Jack's call. Blues and soul on winding paths, freedom song enthralls. For your Rocktober celebration. And in Liverpool's midst, a dreamer strums a new song. Peace echoes through time. Because he famously had that song about, peace, stop war, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Aged wheels softly breathe. Mold cloaks each savory slice. Bold flavors unite. That's about our moldy cheese, of course.
Did 4 of them, huh? 4.
Yeah,
I still haven't
had the Rocktober thing, so.
Loading chat.
It's also UN International Observance of Post. As in that place that you put letters in and they delivered letters to you. And,
speaking of letters.
Original, maybe not. Yeah, I think Post is the original mass media, mass information, mass messaging system. Over 1.5 billion people worldwide, or approximately 28% of the global adult population, need access to basic financial services such as payments, money transfers, and savings through postal networks. So a lot of people rely on postal services. Post offices provide the world 53% of critical financial services to strengthen resilience of low-income individuals faced with irregular and unpredictable levels of revenue. So celebrate your postman today, or your postwomen. Don't keep your dogs locked up so they don't chase them out the yard. That's all they're asking. They don't want to get chased by animals when they're delivering the mail. And yet again, it is still World Space Week, so keep celebrating and keeping space in mind.
We all live in space.
Yeah,
we're always in space. Don't forget that.
Go watch Little Blue Dot or Little Blue Planet, whatever the name of that documentary is, 20 times, okay? So you can get in your damn head.
Space. We're just in a gravitational body, but we're still in space.
Yeah. This has been Allison from the Netherlands, Roger from the East Coast of the U.S. as we finish another Before Coffee, Thursdays 13. If you found any of those films by Steve Martin good, or you haven't seen any of them, let us know. Go watch some of them. Go find them somewhere.
Watch all of them.
Watch them all.
You're so fun. Yeah. Still not loading the video.
That's
but
fine.
Speaking of mail, I got some mail for you. I have your ATM card. Do you need an ATM card?
Yeah, okay. Why are you showing that on stream?
I'm not showing it to anybody. It's an envelope.
Okay.
Anyway, I will send it to you. It's an envelope. It doesn't mean anything.
Here. If you enjoyed, please don't forget to subscribe and follow us either on Twitch or YouTube. You can turn on the notifications so you're notified when we go live or post a video. And of course, you can support the show because we don't make any money off of this on Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you can support us and appreciate all the support on there on Patreon. And here is our mic drop moment.
And let me say what an honor it is for me to be working with someone who looks like a former women's
still
tennis
acting.
champion.
Selena Gomez having a
she literally just can't speak.
Primetime Emmy Awards, thanks to her Only Murders in the Building co-stars Steve Martin and Martin Short.
I so just enjoy trying to make them laugh, but it's more so the other way around.
And that couldn't be truer as the trio presented the category for Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series. Sal, Steve, and Martin bringing all the laughs to the crowd.
Hi, I'm Selena Gomez.
And I'm Steve Martin.
And I'm Martin.
And what an exciting night to be here at the Emmys.
The Emmy Awards. What a magical evening it's been trying to remember people's names.
And pretending that we've seen their shows.
And when I see an actor I don't know, I just say, I loved your scene with Nicole Kidman.
That'll do it.
And 9 times out of 10, I'm right.
But at one point, Martin and
10
Steve take
times
jabs
I'm
at one
right.
another, and Sal completely loses it.
Let me just say what an honor it is for me to be working with someone who looks like he's fallen and can't get up.
Let me say what an honor it is for me to be working with someone who looks like a former women's tennis champion.
Hey!
Hey.
And let me say what an honor it is to work with two guys who are this far away from being childless cat ladies.
I think in general, my standards for humor and gentlemen and just professionals have been, the bar's been lifted pretty high working with these two. So it's been really fun.
But the Emmys are not about who wins or who loses. Honestly, do you
Martin
see
about
what
to
I
fall
have to
over.
go through every day?
While it's been fun and games and a lot of laughs since their series premiered in 2021, Sal
Isn't this
couldn't
show
be more
also
thankful
on
for all
Apple
she's
TV?
learned working with a comedy.
No, it's
I
it's
truly
it's
meant
Hulu.
that
It's on
you
Hulu.
guys
Oh,
have
okay.
set a wonderful
So it's you
example
can
for me,
you
and
can
I'm very
subscribe to
grateful for
Disney
that
Plus
when it
and get
comes to
Hulu.
Your professionalism, your everything.
One of those,
you guys have
cable
just been
packages,
wonderful.
Yeah, Disney
Endless.
Plus, the
I
guys
just
that
find
pulled
it
Jimmy
easier to
Kimmel,
get
those
the-
guys.
rather than kind of nutty and difficult.
Yeah.
It's just easier.
But then they back down like the
There we
cowards
go.
they are.
There's our little,
All
just
right,
a little,
all right.
little comedy,
Anyway,
from two
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Record.